From shrugs to amusement to outright hostility, those are some of the reactions to this month's story in Vanity Fair featuring Monica Lewinsky. Now, you may remember the former White House intern whose affair with Bill Clinton threatened to bring down his presidency. Well, let's talk that one out. And here she is. I'm sure Hillary Clinton's not too happy these days to see Monica Lewinsky pop up on the newsstands again. Dee Dee?
Well, look, I think Monica deserves her day. I mean, think about it. She was destroyed with this. And she was an intern. Look, I worked at the White House, and part of my job was to deal with interns. If an intern would have gotten busy with the president, are you kidding me? That is terrible what the president did. And then he lied about it, so that's why he's only the second impeached president in our United States history. So, and she just got destroyed, and then Hillary is running for president. The Clintons have done great. They really have. So you know what? They deserve, and the American people deserve to hear about this for a little while, because it was really a terrible thing.
Well, Dr. Saunders, you teach politics, so what do you think about this little political fiasco?
Most students are really not familiar with Monica Lewinsky at all, except as a name, as a scandal that erupted years before they paid any attention to politics.
Well, most of those kids are probably 4 years old.
Yeah, they were 4, that's right.
And I would take issue with you. I think this is possibly quite the best moment for this to come out for the Clintons. The issue was bound to come out. So actually, I think Hillary is probably happy that it came out now, because by the time the elections roll around, this will be old news. Nobody will care about it anymore. There will have been a midterm election that will have changed the political dynamics, and so I don't think this hurts her at all. It creates a news story for about a week or so, and then I think it dies away.
I think you're right that this is going to go away pretty quickly, but I don't know if anybody wants to see the other woman, but that's just my opinion on that one. Dr. Lopez, weigh in on this one. What do you think?
I mean, I do feel sorry, as Dee Dee says, for Monica Lewinsky. I mean, she left the country. I mean, she was living in England. I think she might still be living there. I mean...
She was a poor intern.
She was exiled.
Young. She was a kid.
I mean, I feel sorry for what happened to her. I mean, as a human being, human to human, I feel sorry for the entire
Yeah, she was a young girl.
And you're
not going to turn down the President of the United States. Forget it. I mean, it was abuse of power. It was really terrible what he did. It was.
All right.
But we went through that once before, and I think
but for you to just really, I really take offense to what you're saying, because you're like, oh, that was no big deal. It was a big deal to this woman.
No, please understand,
and the way
it was a big
Hillary Clinton
deal.
handled it was pathetic.
It was a big deal to people on the moral ground. But on the political ground, it was not, and the Republicans lost heavily.
The president lied, he was impeached. That's a pretty big deal. And Hillary stood right beside him, knew about it, and then she started bad-mouthing Monica Lewinsky.
I never understood why the women's groups didn't come out during that.
I agree. Well, because Bill Clinton. It was
a complex political situation at the time. It was basically a coup that was being staged by the Republican Party.
Oh, give me a break. They put Monica and Bill in the Oval Office.
Let him talk for a second.
It was an actual coup, political coup, as coups go in the United States, to get rid of Bill Clinton. People realized that the moral behavior of the president was despicable. He got roundly criticized for that.
He got impeached.
But on the political end of the issue, people realized that politically it wasn't relevant to his presidency. Morally, absolutely. Politically, not.
Dr. Saunders, just because the kids that are in your class now were 4 to 5 years old, probably, what is their reaction when they hear the story?
Well, unfortunately, there's been so much scandal, both among Republicans and Democrats, of a sexual nature, that pretty much many of them think, okay, this is the way it seems to be, and this is far too frequent, but that's the state of the world.
And we don't want to forget our friend down in Florida over there, Dr. Bart Rossi, and you've been listening to us chatter about this. What are your thoughts?
I don't think there's any political psychology associated with Monica Lewinsky anymore. I don't think she's a factor in the race going forward. I feel sorry for her as well, but I don't think she's a factor in any way, shape, or form.
So you say that again one more time, Dr. Rossi?
I don't think there's any political psychology associated with Monica Lewinsky anymore. I don't think she's a factor either way going forward.
Okay, you're all men. That's all I get to say. You're all men. I'm sorry, but women, they don't like this.
I was just going to say, I think that it's almost like a male-female issue right now, is what I'm kind of feeling right now with sitting here.
No, I think you're misunderstanding. I think on the moral plane, on the personal plane, Bill Clinton always had negative ratings. Going back from the very beginning when he was running for president, he had a problem with Jennifer Flowers, you all remember. On the personal level, nobody has said that Bill Clinton behaved properly or in any way appropriately. But on the political level, people have made a difference, including women.
Well, I'm going to just ask everybody one very quick last question, and that is, do you think, and I know we touched on it, but do you think this is actually going to be good for Hillary? Dr. Lopez.
I think, like Professor Saunders says, it gets it out of the way. I think it's a good thing to put it out there in the field. People can discuss it and make a decision whether she is a viable next president.
Do you think that the question of why she stood by her man is going to come up as a powerful woman, Dr. Saunders?
Well, it inevitably will, as among certain people. But I think people will judge her on her program, on her plans, on what she wants to do with the country, and everybody will realize this was a very difficult moment. And maybe she should have behaved differently, maybe she shouldn't have behaved differently. But this is now going forward, and playing back a scandal that occurred decades back will not tell us very much about where Hillary Clinton wants to take the country forward if she runs for president.
Dee Dee?
I think it's cumulative. It's this, Benghazi, Vince Foster, all those gates, everything that happened in Arkansas. This is just part of the puzzle. So yeah, I think it'll make an impact.
Okay, and final thoughts from Dr. Rossi on this subject.
I think Hillary and her personality will be pervasive, and she will be judged on herself and who she is, and not what happened with Bill Clinton.
All right, well, we're going to go on to another scandal involving an older man and a younger woman. Oh, yeah, we were talking about Donald Sterling last week. Well, we found out that his mistress, gosh, I can't believe, Dee Dee, that she was actually arrested 4 times. I couldn't understand.
We called it last week and said she should go to jail. I think we said like 2 or 3 times. So good. She should have been arrested. She just needs to be put away for what she did. I mean, he's despicable, but what she did was just as bad, really. Well, maybe not just as bad, but it was pretty bad.
And you're shaking your head there, Dr. Lopez. I know this is not the science field.
I usually don't agree with Dee Dee, but I absolutely 100% agree with her. I mean, I don't even, in the 21st century, in the United States of America, after all the history we've had, that this even comes up, especially in the National Basketball Association. It's hard to believe.
I can't believe that people can sell things, and people. I sometimes think that the press should not be able to take these stories and buy these stories. Dr. Saunders?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's outrageous, and of course we're dealing with sports, which is basically an entertainment and a mass media kind of environment, and to have this kind of behavior in an environment that projects itself to children, to adults of all kinds, it is despicable, and that's what makes it different and what makes it censurable.
That's a great point there, that so many kids look up to these stars, and of course even the owners. Right. So great point there. Dr. Bart.
I think that this whole story personifies the fact that we should not exaggerate racism in America, but we should not minimize it either. It is out there in some form or another, and it should be talked about on a regular basis.
And of course, the other question that came up with this whole story, when you look back at history, is of course, he did make these comments in the privacy of his own home. As horrible and heinous as they were, he made them in the privacy of his own home.
Right, and that's a complex issue. I mean, the statements are despicable, and once they come out, of course, action has to be taken. But there is a separate issue about privacy, and that has not quite been discussed fully, and perhaps it will as the story unfolds further. But there's a privacy question which is separate from the censurable comments, which have been dealt with appropriately, it seems to me.
All right, well, we're going to switch gears and change lanes, if you will. Well, out in Chicago, Dee Dee's neck of the woods, get out of the ledge if you dare at 1,353 feet in the air. The ledge's glass boxes extend out 4.5 feet from the sky deck. Now the ledge is a glass balcony extending 4 feet out of the Willis Tower, and they say this is just an absolutely amazing feeling when you go in there. Would you go up there? I guess if you're afraid of heights, you're not going to go check it out, but I would go check it out.
I think so. I'm not sure, because that looks pretty scary. I mean, it's almost like you have to try it, but I might have to have a couple cocktails before to be brave enough to do it. But yeah, I think we should all try it out.
Well, hey, Dr. Bart, how common is like fear of heights? Is that one of the biggies?
Oh, I think it's one of the big ones. People are fearful. They're very sensitive about something like that. It makes them feel awkward and anxious, and it's definitely towards the top.
All right, Dr. Saunders, were you going to go out to Chicago? Are you going to go up to the top of the Willis Tower?
No, I've been in similar situations, and I don't like it, and I share Dr. Bart's view of it. I would say, however, this is for what I would call armchair daredevils.
Well, I jumped out of an airplane. I jumped out of an airplane once. I won't do it again. Are you going, Dr. Lopez?
All it does, it's a window that basically tilts down at I think it's about a 25-degree angle.
But what if it breaks?
What if it's windy in the Windy City?
Science and technology and
Right.
engineering.
It is a windy city. And you know more about Chicago than I do. That's more your summer home. But it does get windy, and you're really high. That's a good point.
Well, I was wondering, it must tilt there. I'm sure you must feel it up there. But look at those pictures. It's just amazing.
1,000 feet up in the air, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, that just sounds like something I'm going to go do when I go to Chicago, but that's okay. I'll go alone. It's okay. All right. Well, this weekend is, of course, Mother's Day. So a little history for you. The holiday was actually created in 1908, but the holiday actually has more somber roots. It was founded for mourning women to remember fallen soldiers. Anna Jarvis is the woman who championed the holiday. And a few more facts. According to the National Retail Federation, Americans spend an average of $162 on Mom. It is also the most popular holiday for dining out. And we're seeing a couple of the moms there. Let's see if we can show those again.
Not my
That's Stephanie, or one of our producers. That's one of our producers' moms. Thank you very much. I've got somebody, Chinar's in my ear. Thank you, Chinar. I think we're also going to see we're going to see Dee Dee's mom.
My mom is first.
That's Alyssa's mother. That's another one of our assistant producers. We wish her a very happy Mother's Day as well. And let's see, I think we're going to come up on.
My mom.
There's Dee Dee's
Yay.
mom.
Nancy
Woohoo!
Sue.
All right, happy Mother's Day to Dee Dee's mom, and I bet you my mom's gonna be next. There's Mimi.
Woo,
There's
beautiful.
Mimi. All right.
Very glam.
Well, listen, happy Mother's Day to my mom, to all the moms. We thank you for being here on Fresh Outlook. I'm Mia Toski. Have a terrific week, and we'll see you back here next week.